all the 8 daughters passed away, Vishwarupa was born, and he was having Virakta Bhav right from the beginning of his childhood. It is mentioned that he associated with Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya and a few other Vaishnavas like Srivas Thakur, Gangadas Pandit, and they all met in the house of Advaita Acharya, and they would discuss the pastimes of the Lord. They would discuss about devotional service. He was very much inspired by devotional service. So he had developed complete detachment from the Supreme Lord. So the result of hearing, practicing devotional service is, we develop Virakti Bhav. If detachment is not happening, then there is some truti in our practice of devotional service. So this has to be understood. In the Bhagavan Kapila Upakhyan in the 3rd canto, there's a verse which says, Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya chakalpate na tirthapada sevayai jivanapi mrito hi saha. So it means whatever work we are doing, karma, it should actually increase our dharma. Of course, the paro dharma is pure devotional service. The karma should actually lead to religious duties, dharma. That dharma should actually lead to na viragaya kalpate. It should actually lead to viraga. That is virakti bhav, detachment from this world. And detachment is not sufficient. That should again lead to devotion. Na tirthapada sevayai. So it should lead to the rendering of devotional service to the Supreme Lord and to his pure devotees. But here the word na is used. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya chakalpate na tirthapada sevayai jivanapi mrito hi saha. That person's life is simply, he's like a dead body. So whatever activities we are performing, that should definitely lead us to devotional service. That is why the varnashrama aspect comes. Varnashrama is actually material. It has nothing to do with spirituality. But it helps us in practicing our vritti according to our nature properly, so that we do not deviate from the injunctions and instructions of the scriptures. Because when we perform vikarma, then there is no question of performing dharma. So the karma should be according to the Vedic scriptures, and that will lead us to dharma, and then virakti bhav. So devotional service, what to speak of rendering karma and dharma? If somebody is practicing devotional service, it should 100% lead to virakti bhav. And if it is not leading, then there is some fault in the practice of devotional service. So Vishwarupa was by default, naturally renounced. We may think that, oh, he's the Supreme Lord, so what's so big deal about it? He can show. But it is a big deal. Why? Because we are insignificant. Still, we think it is a great achievement when we develop some detachment. And he is the Supreme Lord, who is the owner of everything and can do anything and everything to anyone. And he is having that quality of virakti bhav. So it is definitely a great thing. So the Lord is, setting an example, showing to the jivas how it is important. And of course, at the age of 12, he takes to sannyas. He goes away, he gets the name of Shankararanya. And then he leaves his body, transcendental body, in Pandharpur. That's where. And the whole thing is blamed by Mother Shachi on Advaita Acharya. Not verbally, but mentally. This is detected by Mahaprabhu, and he says, you are an offender. Until you don't take the dust of the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya, you will never get mercy of the Lord. So all that. So how careful, one has to be. Mentally also, we cannot commit offenses. Actually, in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that in the age of Kali Yuga, Only actions bear fruits, but if, uh, in fact, only sinful actions bear fruit, but uh, thought does not bear any fruit. But pious thoughts bear fruit, but not, yeah, that's true. So it comes where, Parikshit Maharaj is speaking to, I think, Dharma, where, he says something like, yeah, Kalim, yeah, Kalim Sabha, oh, that's a different thing. Kalim Sabhajayant Arya Gunagna Sahara Bhagina Yatra Sankirtane Naiva Sarva Swarthopi Labhyate. So all the great souls actually glorify Kali, because, simply by practicing devotional service, simply by engaging in Sankirtan movement, one can attain Sarva Swarthopi Labhyate. He attains all his desires, spiritual desires. Okay. So Vishwarupa leaves and he goes, takes sannyas. Now, विष्णु भक्ति शून्य हैले सकल संसार प्रथम कलिते हैल भविष्य आचार. As the entire world became devoid of devotion to Lord Vishnu, the future symptoms of Kali began to manifest in the beginning of the age. धर्म तिरो भाव हैले प्रभु अवतारे भक्त सब दुख पाए जानिय अंतरे तबे महाप्रभु गौर चंद्र भगवान शचि जगन्नाथ देह होइल अधिष्ठान. So whenever there is a decline in the practice of religious principles, the Lord incarnates, knowing that the devotees were in distress. Lord Gaurachandra Mahaprabhu appeared in the bodies of Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi. So very similar to the pastime of Devaki and Vasudev, that, Lord appeared in the mind and then into the womb of Mother Shachi. Jaya Jaya Dhvani Haila, Jaya Jaya Dhvani Haila, Anantavadane, Swapna Praya Jagannatha, Mishra Shachi Shune. As Sri Ananta, that is Ananta Shesha, loudly chanted Jai Jai, Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi heard the sound vibration as if it were a dream. So they were able to hear this. Ananta Shesha is glorifying and, shouting Jai Jai. They just thought, it is some kind of a dream. So the situation during the advent of Mahaprabhu was very bad in Navadvip, although it was a great learning place. It was, much greater than Takshila or Nalanda, because all the great scholars, they flocked to Navadvip because it was very famous for studies, for academic studies. So millions and millions of people had moved to Navadvip. In fact, the predecessors of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami also, they had moved for the same reason to, to the region of Navadvip. So it was a big pitha for, all the great scholars. It is said in so many places in the Chaitanya Bhagavad, it is mentioned, there were millions of people in Navadvip. It was just like today's Bangalore. Millions of people were there. In some places it is mentioned when Lord Chaitanya was, in one pastime it is mentioned, when Lord Chaitanya was moving on the street, he was so beautiful, he is so attractive. All his neighbors knew, But when the Lord was moving on the street, two thieves come and they take him. So at that time, the people around, they didn't even know who the child was. They thought, oh, maybe the guardians of that child are taking him away. Because the Lord was unknown because the population was too much. That is the point. Millions of people were there. Not everybody knew, although they were living in Navadvip. Yeah. So, Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi heard the vibration of Sri Anantadev, the Anantashesha. Mahatejo Murti Manta Hailadoi Jane Tathapiha Lakhitena Pare Anya Jane. Both husband and wife manifested a brilliant spiritual effulgence which common people could not perceive. Avatirna hoibena Ishvara Janiya Brahma Shiva Adi Stuti Karena Asiya. Knowing that the Supreme Lord would appear, personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva came to offer prayers. Very similar to how Lord Krishna advented. That time also, all the demigods came to offer their glories and worship in the jail where they were staying. Ati Maha Veda Gopya Ei Sakala Katha Ihate Sandeha Kichu Nahika Sarvatha. These topics are the highest confidential truths of the Vedas. Of this, there is no doubt. And this will be revealed in the future by Vyasadeva in millions of verses. Bhakti Kari Brahmadi Devera Shunastuti Jay Gopya Shravane Hai Krishna Rati Mati. Now please hear with devotion the prayers offered by demigods, headed by Brahma. By hearing these prayers, one's mind becomes attached to Krishna. This is the Shruti Phala. Even in the end also it is given. The Shruti Phala is one attains pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Simply by hearing, not even, to enter into the pastime or practice devotional service. Simply by hearing, one attains the Shruti Phala of pure devotional service. Jaya 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 Mahaprabhu Janaka Sabar Jaya Jaya Sankirtana Hetu Avatar. All glories to Sriman Mahaprabhu, the father of all living entities. All glories to the Supreme Lord, who has incarnated to inaugurate the Sankirtana movement. Who is saying this? The demigods. First verse, they are glorifying the Lord who is still in the womb. Jaya Jaya Veda Dharma Sadhu Viprapala Jaya Jaya Abhakta Damana Mahakal. All glories to the protector of Vedic principles, saintly persons and Brahmanas. All glories to the personification of time which destroys the non-devotees. So they are glorifying that, the Lord is the protector of the Vedic principles and the saintly persons and the Brahmanas. And he is also personified time to destroy the non-devotees. Jaya Jaya Sarva Satya Maya Kalevar Jaya Jaya Ichha Maya Maha Maheshwar. All glories to the Supreme Lord who possesses a pure spiritual body. All glories to the a fully independent personality of Godhead. Jai Tumi Ananta Koti Brahmande Ravas Jai Tumi Shri Shachi Garbhe Karila Prakash. You are the shelter of innumerable universes, yet you have entered the womb of Mother Shachi. So all the millions and billions of universes are inside the womb of the Supreme Lord, and now he is taken the shelter of the womb of Mother Shachi. तोमार जय इच्छा के भुजिते तारपात्र सृष्टि स्थिति प्रलय तोमार लीला मात्र. Who can understand your supreme will? The creation, maintenance and annihilation of the material world are simply your pastimes. So the Lord simply in his yoga nidra, simply by his will, the Lord's another name is Satya Sankalpa. Satya Sankalpa means whatever he desires, immediately it is fulfilled. So he is like in yoga nidra. What about, maybe I should allow the jivas to, give an attempt for them to, practice devotions. The minute he thinks, all the universes are coming out. And then, the jivas enter. So many things happen. The pralaya happens. Again it goes back. So that is how, the Lord is just thinking and it happens. Sakala samsara jara ichhaya samhare seki kamsa ravana vadhite vakyanare. Does one by whose desire the entire creation is destroyed lack the power to kill Ravana or Kamsa simply by giving an order? So the understanding is, The Lord can easily destroy the entire universe. He creates and he destroys. Is it difficult for him to, simply give an order, maybe, to say coronavirus, please kill? Not at all difficult. It's very easy. So the question is being asked here. So, is it difficult for the Lord to give an order to kill Ravana or Kamsa? No, it is not. But still, he appears. Why does he appear? Several reasons are there. The killing of the demons is very secondary. It is not, his primary job. He only comes for his devotees, for the protection of his devotees, to establish yoga dharma, and so many reasons are there. So like that. Tatapiha Dasharata Vasudeva Ghare Avatirna Hayavadhi Lata Sa Bare. Still you incarnated in the homes of Dasharatha and Vasudeva and personally killed them and personally killed the demons. But here it is mentioned personally killed them, not, not to Dasharatha and Vasudeva. एते के भुजे प्रभु तुम्हारा कारण आपनी से जाना तुम्ही आपनारमन. Therefore, my Lord, who can understand the cause of your appearance other than you yourself? Nobody can understand, why the Lord appears. There are several reasons. Like Kunti Maharani mentions in her prayers, she mentions 4 reasons. She says, केचिदाहुर अजम जातम पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियस्यान्ववाये मलयस्येव चंदनम. So she says, केचिदाहुर अजम जातम. Some people say that, although you are Aja, who is unborn, but the Lord takes birth. Ajam jatam. Jatam means to take birth. Why? Punyashlokasya kirtaye. For the sake of pure devotees. Punya shloka means pure devotees. Yadoh priyas anvavaye malaya seva chandanam. Just like King Yadu, to please King Yadu, to satisfy King Yadu and other devotees, the Lord appeared. In the Yadu Vamsha he appeared. There were many other devotees. It is not that only Yadu was a pure devotee. Shurasena was a pure devotee. Ugrasena was a devotee. All the Vamshaja, the Vrishnis, the Andhakas, the Bhojas, the Satvatas. Satvatas is also a kingdom. Even a devotee is also called as Satvata. So they were all dynasties of pure devotees. And during the advent of Lord Krishna, the principal demigods also appeared in these dynasties. So to please them, the Lord appeared. That is one of the reasons. Then Kunti Maharani further says, Apare Vasudevasya Devakyam Yachito Bhagat Ajastvamasya Kshemaya Vadhaya Cha Suradvisham. So, because Vasudeva and Devaki, they yachito, they worshipped, because they have been worshipping as, what was the first birth? Sutapa and Prishni, and then as Kashyapa and Aditi, and then as Vasudeva and Devaki. They've been worshipping, and that is the reason why specifically for Devaki and Vasudev the Lord appeared to protect them from the atrocities of Kamsa. Yachito Yachito Bhagat Ajastvam Asya Kshemaya Vadhaya Cha Suradvisham, and to destroy all the enemies of the Suras or the demigods or the pure devotees. And then Kunti Maharani mentions Bharavatarnayanye bhuvo navo ivo dadau sidantya bhuri bharena jato hyatma bhuvartita. Because Mother Earth, she was overburdened with all these demons. Bhuvo nava ivo dadau. The Mother Earth is considered as a boat, and she was an overburdened boat. When the boat is overburdened, there's a problem, like if you see a cargo ship or, merchant navy, if it is overburdened with too much goods and they go into a storm, sure enough, it will sink. So, bhuvo navo ivodadau, sidantya bhuri bharena, to remove that, jato hya atma bhuvartita. Who is Atma Bhu? Brahma. Brahma. Atma Bhuva Arthita. Because Brahma prayed along with all the other demigods that, the earth is overburdened. Great demons are there. All the great demons whom Lord Vishnu, along with the demigods, had killed in the previous yugas. Everyone was present, Kalanemi, Viprachitti, and so many, I don't know the names. So, all these great demons, they are all appearing. So, it's overburdened. It has to be removed. Now, the current Kali Yuga is very pleasant because we have chota mota tiny demons. They can, although they are creating havoc, that's a different story. But they are insignificant in front of the demons, which is described in the scriptures. Because when Jarasandha appeared, uh, when he attacked Mathura 17 times, so every time he brought 23 Akshauhini Sahina. So Kurukshetra war itself, good point. Kurukshetra war itself is considered as a great war, which had 18 Akshauhinis, 11 and 7. But 17 times 23 Akshauhinis were brought by Jarasandha. And every time only Krishna and only Balram, they smashed and killed each one of them. Still he couldn't realize, how is it possible? He thought, no, I still have hope, hope against hope. And he would bring again. And not only that, after being destroyed for 17 times, when Krishna ran away, when Kala Yavana also was attacking at the same time, the last attempt. So when he ran away, because of which he got this Ranchod name, so Jarasandha became happy. He thought, after all, he's afraid. He's afraid of me. So his spirits, improved. He was very eager. And not only that, when Shishupal was very dejected because the Lord came like a lion and took the lamb, that is Mother Rukmini, from a pack of jackals and went away. So Shishupal was very dejected. He said, what a shame, all of you, you are supposed to be my friends. He came and it took away and we just couldn't do anything. None of you could do, and he was alone, and you are all Shuraviras, hundreds of you. Then at that time also Jarasandha said, don't worry, why are you dejected? I lost 17 times, but still, he ran away. So there is hope, we can defeat him. So don't worry so much about it. So that way Jarasandha was very hopeful. They were never surprised. How can only two of them, smash 23 Akshauhinis? So that way. Okay, so I was saying Kunti Maharani also says that not only for Brahma, but also she says, Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmabhi shravana smarana arhani karishyanniti kechana. She says, Bhavesmin klishyamananam. We are all klishyamananam. We are sufferers. Klesha means suffering. Once Srila Prabhupada was going on the beach and he asked, who are they? They said, oh, they are surfers, Prabhupada. They are sufferers. So like that. So we may be, there are so many words, sadhunam, this, that, but we are basically klishyamananam. We are all sufferers. So bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmabhi. Because of avidya, because of ignorance of our actual constitutional position, we are suffering. Kama karmabhi. We are fruitive. We are fruitive in nature. Fruitive mentality means independent mentality. Because I do something, and because of my endeavor and because of my potency, I will get some fruit. That means there is no question of dependency. But actually, eternally our constitutional position is we are dependent. Without the mercy of Lord, we cannot have this body. which is given by material nature. We cannot have senses, we cannot have mind, we cannot have intelligence, we cannot have anything. All of this is given by the Lord. He is taking care of us. He is the maintainer. He is the Vishwambhara. But still, because of ungrateful heart, basically because of avidya, because of ignorance, we think that we are independent. We are not dependent on anybody or anything. So, because when we become independent, the nature is I am the doer, and when we are the doer, then I expect results also. So, avidya, kama, karma bihi. So that way, we endeavor for fruitive results. So to remove this, the Lord appears. Smarana, Shravana, Smarana, Arhani, Karishyaniti Kechana. Basically to establish devotional service so that the jivas in this world can take shelter of Lord in devotional service and they get liberated from this place. So these are the main reasons why the Lord appears. Of course, there are many other reasons why Lord Chaitanya appeared. So that's another topic where there are principally, I'll quickly mention, there are principally three main reasons why, three internal reasons and three external reasons why Lord Chaitanya appears. So the three internal reasons are, the first thing is because he wanted to experience the position of Radharani. So he comes in the mood of Radharani and also in her complexion. It is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita itself. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Haladini Shakti Rasmat Ekat Manav Api Purah Deha Bhedam Gatato Chaitanakyam Prakadam Aduna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Navama Krishna Swarupam. So Radha Bhava and Dyuti. So the mood of Radharani and also the complexion of Radharani. So he wants to be in the position of Radharani. He wants to experience how she renders devotional service. That is the principal internal reason. And there are other reasons also. He wants to experience the sweetness of himself because he is not aware of his own sweetness. Everybody is, very eager for the sweetness of the Lord. Pure devotees. Sadhakas are struggling. We don't see, the sweetness. We, as a duty, we do it. But somebody who is very nicely practicing sincere, pure devotee, he is very eager. The Lord is unable to identify. There are a few things which the Lord is not aware in this material world. Jiva Goswami mentions this. There are a few things. Like his own sweetness, he cannot experience it until he is in somebody's mood. Like in case of, he takes the mood of Radharani. Then the Lord does not know the suffering of the jivas. This is another thing Jiva Goswami mentions. The reason is because this experience of suffering and material suffering and happiness is only experienced in the modes of nature. And the Lord is beyond the three modes of nature. So he has no experience of it. He knows theoretically, but he has no practical experience of it. So he is not attracted to the jiva when he is suffering. The compassion doesn't come. But the Lord's compassion comes when he renders devotional service. The Lord becomes eager to bestow his mercy. And this is what is mentioned, so not my words. So why the compassion? We are thinking, generally a common, ordinary jiva, he blames the Lord when there is suffering. Why can't he see, can't he see how much I am suffering? So the Lord is not attracted because he does not know. He does not know. He knows theoretically. Like, I know how the life is in a slum. Theoretically, I know, but I have no practical experience. In the same way, the Lord knows theoretically what is suffering of the jiva, but he has no practical experience. So, like that, there are a few things. So, here, he was not aware of his own sweetness. How sweet, devotees want to, they want to suck the toe of the Lord. It is, in Bhagavatam it says, अथवास्य पदाम्भोज मकरंद लिहाम सताम किमन्नैर असदालापैर आयुषो यद असत्व्ययः. अथवास्य, asya means his, the Supreme Lord's. Athvasya padambhoja. Makaranda liham, liham means to lick. So the devotees are very eager to lick the honey from the lotus feet of the Lord. Literal, not literal meaning, the glories of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. They want to lick the honey. So Makaranda liham satam. Kim manner asad alapair. What to speak of other nonsense? Asat alap. Alapa means talking, vartalap. That is ayusho yad asatva. It will destroy the ayu. But pure souls, they are always eager to describe the glories of the Supreme Lord. They are eager to lick the honey from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So that is why the Lord wants to see how sweet is my toe. So that is why, as this Bala Mukunda Manasa Smarami, where Markandeya Rishi, when he sees this Bala Gopal, he is always sucking the toe to see how sweet. So the Lord is not aware. He wants to experience it. He can experience his own sweetness only if he becomes a devotee, not as himself. So that is the reason why he appears. He wants to experience the sweet. This is the second reason. And the third reason is Radharani is experiencing unlimited bliss, and he has no experience of it. So this is another thing which the Lord does not know, that he does not know how much bliss my devotee Radharani is experiencing. Actually, there is no difference between Radha and Krishna. They are the same. Alright? Krishna is non-different from Radharani. That is why this verse is talking about that, right? Radha Krishna pranaya vikritir haladini shaktiras ekatmana. They are eka. Pura deha bhedam gatautau. But as Lord Chaitanya, these two personalities, Pura deha bheda, Chaitanakyam prakatam aduna tadvayam cha eikyam aptam. So these two again became one. So that way, the Lord appeared. So there is no difference between him and Radharani. Then how is it possible that Lord is not able to experience the bliss which Radharani is experiencing? That's because he's taken out his energy, and his potency is a completely different entity which he cannot experience until he takes that position. A very achintya, wonderful, achintya khaluya bhavana tams tarkene. By tarka we cannot understand, but that is how it is. So because she was experiencing happiness a million times more than Krishna, Krishna became envious, transcendentally envious. How is that possible? I am the Supreme Lord, and how is that she is experiencing more bliss? So I want to experience the same bliss. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Radha Krishna pranaya vikritir haladini shaktirasmat ekatmanam api bhuvi puraha deha. Radha Bhava. What is the next verse? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madurima Kidrisho Madiya Saukhyam Chasya Madanubhavata Kidrisho Vettilobhat Tad Bhavadyam Samajani Shachigarbham Sindho Harindo. Saukhyam, that Sukha which Radharani was experiencing. Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva. Her Pranaya Mahima, her glory of her love for me. Kidrisho, I don't know. I want to know. Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva. Swadhyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima. I want to taste that sweetness she is experiencing, the happiness she is experiencing, the bliss she is experiencing. Saukhyam. Saukhyam means sukha. Saukhyam chasya mad anubhavata. I want to experience. Vetti lobhat. He had lobha. He had greed. Tad bhavadyam samajani shachigarbham sindho harindo. That is why Lord Chaitanya appeared. These are the internal reasons. The external reasons are Advaita Acharya called by his hunkar. Hunkar is like loud shouting by performing worship of Shalagram. Then also to establish the Yuga Dharma of the Sankirtana is another reason. And also Lord Chaitanya appeared to establish the Raga Marga, yeah, right, and to give that Unnata Ujjvala Rasa. Mm, um, what is that first line? Um, Anarpita charim chirat karunaya avatirana kalau samarpayatum unnata ujjvala rasam bhakti shrim hari purata sundara dyuti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spurata vah shachinandana. So ana arpita charim chirat. For a very, very long time the Lord had not given, because he gives once in a day of Brahma. Sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti is given by all the incarnations of the Lord. Prema bhakti, Vraja Prem, is not given so easily, once in a day of Brahma. So, Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunayavatirana Kalau, Samarpayatum Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, Madhurya Rasa, Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, Bhakti Shrim. So, to give that, the Lord appeared. This is the third reason, for external reason for his appearing. So, we have the highest, doesn't mean we are also the highest. So there may be wonderful devotees practicing in other sampradayas, much, much better than us. We have the highest, but we are not yet the highest. So for us, now sadhana marg. Then slowly, we can, other things will be revealed. Okay. Sorry, 159. तोमार आज्ञाया एक सेवक तोमार अनंत ब्रह्मांड पारे करिते उद्धार. By your order, each one of your servants can deliver innumerable universes. It is not necessary that only the Lord has to come to deliver. Each and every servant of the Supreme Lord can deliver innumerable number of universes. Amazing, isn't it? So Krishna says in the Bhagavatam, he says, Nirapeksha munim shantam nirvairam samadarshanam anuvrajamyaham nityam puyayet angri renubihi. My devotees, they are nirapeksha. They have no expectations. They are completely akinchana. Munim shantam. They are very, very peaceful. Nirvairam samadarshana. They have no enemies. They are equal to all. Anuvrajamyaham nityam. I follow in their footsteps. The devotees are saying, we follow in the footsteps of the Lord, but the Lord is saying, I follow in their footsteps. Anuvrajamyaham nityam. Why? Because puyayet angri renubihi. The dust of their lotus feet purifies the whole universe. So I want to follow in their footsteps. So the Lord is a bhakta of his own bhaktas. He also is practicing devotional service, but his object of devotion is the devotees. So he is Bhakta Vatsala, but he himself is also a Bhakta. So, like that. Recently, our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapadaka Maharaj, was giving one class on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur appearance day, where he was saying that when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was walking in the street, then some disciples pointed him to the moon, and he looked at the moon, and you know what he said? Too much of materialism in the moon. Sense gratification has increased in the moon. I think we need to preach there. Suddenly, out of blue. So we don't know how pure devotee thinks. Probably, he is able to see. So that way, they can deliver the entire universe. All great demigods, they worship a pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary Vaishnava Acharya. He is glorified in the entire universe. So that way, all the demigods are also very eager to, glorify. I was hearing someone mentioned recently, I don't know, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was walking in Navadvip. Generally, he would wake up at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, for some of us, I think it's time to sleep. Deep sleep. He is saying he is more, modest. But For some of us, it's the beginning of the sleep. So 2 o'clock he would wake up, and he was walking, and suddenly there was a kirtan party coming, doing Harinam Kirtan and coming. And has anyone heard this? They were coming, and they came and they asked Bhakti Siddhanta, they paid their obeisances, they said, whatever, Maharaj, whatever, can you please share some glories of this place? And they all heard the glories. It is mentioned that they were the residents of Shweta Dvipa who had come to Navadvip on some spiritual trip. Can you imagine? So Navadvip is not an ordinary place. It is non-different from any other spiritual world like Shweta Dvipa. The residents of Shweta Dvipa, they are coming here. This was heard by some of his disciples, because not everything can be revealed. And they said that he, from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., he gave them katha about the glories. Probably they are also aware, but they relish parasparam. And then at 6, they all suddenly disappeared, the entire Kirtan party. So this was, viewed by some of his disciples. So like that, a pure devotee, he is glorious in the entire universe. So what to speak of, one planet like Earth. Okay. Tatapiha tumi se apane avatari sarvadharma bhujao prithvi dhanya kari. Still you incarnate yourself to teach religious principles to all and thus make the earth glorious. Satya yuge tumi prabhu shubhravarna dhari tapodharma bhujao apane tapa kari. O my Lord, in Satya Yuga you appeared with a white complexion to preach the principles of austerity by your personal example. Krishna jina danda kamandalu jata dhari dharmasthapa brahmachari rupe avatari. You wear a deer skin, carry a danda and water pot, and you wear matted locks of hair. In this way you incarnate as a brahmachari to re-establish the principles of religion. This is in the Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga, the Lord appeared in the Chaturbhuja form, in the complexion of white. The Bhagavatam also says, right? Asan varnas trayohyasya grinato anuyugam tanuho shuklo rakta tatapitas idanim krishnatam gata. So according to the Yuga, the Lord appears in the Satya he comes as in the Shukla Varna. In Treta as Rakta, that is red. And in the Dwapar he comes as Krishna, that is dark. And Pita he comes in the Kali Yuga. So these are the Yuga Avatara colors. Now one may ask, which Satya Yuga, which Treta Yuga, which Kali Yuga, or which Dwapar Yuga? Predominantly most of the Satya Yugas, most of the Dwapar Yugas, most of the Kali Yugas, this is the color of the Yuga Avatar. So that is how we have to understand, because we are in the 7th Manvantar, we are in the 28th Chatur Yuga. So that means how many? 28 Satya Yugas, Treta, Dwapar, Kali have already passed. If you take into consideration the previous 6 Manvantars, then 7 into 6, 42, 425, plus this another 28. 450 Satya Yugas, Treta Yugas, Dwapar Yugas, Kali Yugas have already passed. Only in this Kalpa. So, which color in which Satya Yuga? It is predominantly most of the Satya Yugas, he comes in the white complexion. Treta, he comes as red, and then Dwapar as Krishna, and in the yellow golden form in the Kali Yuga. So that is how it is mentioned. And that should not be misunderstood that, Lord Chaitanya appears every Kali Yuga. He comes only once in a day of Brahma, but it is referring to the other incarnations of the Lord, because there is Chaturbhuja form of Lord Krishna, there is the incarnation of Lord Buddha, not the Shaktiavesh avatar Buddha, but Lord himself. Then there is Balaji. So there are so many unlimited number of incarnations. Srimad Bhagavatam does not describe all the incarnations. It only refers to only 24 incarnations. In fact, it is said that I'll just read that in the Satya Yuga, the Lord is glorified by the names Hamsa, Suparna, Vaikunta, Dharma, Yogeshwara, Amala, Ishvara, Purusha, Avyakta, and Paramatma. These are the incarnations of the Lord who are in the Shukla Varna. And then in the Treta Yuga, the Lord is known by the names Vishnu, Yagya, Prishnigarbha, Sarvadeva, Urukrama, Vrishakapi, Jayanta, and Urugaya. These are all the names of Lord in the Treta Yuga. So, who comes in the Rakta Varna. So, the Lord in the Treta Yuga and in Satya Yuga, he is a Chaturbhuja form itself. So, sometimes we misunderstand that, white complexion means only Hamsa. No, not. Hamsa is also included, but it is a Chaturbhuja form of the Lord. So there are many, many incarnations in several different Satyugas, but he comes in the white complexion. That is the understanding. So this is very nicely described by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Treta Yuge Hoya Sundara Rakta Varna Hay Yagya Purusha Bhujao Yagya Dharma. You appear in Treta Yuga with a beautiful red complexion. Although you are the Lord of sacrifice, you set the example by engaging in the performance of sacrifice. Sruk Sruva Haste Yagya Apane Koriya Sabare Lahoya Yagya Yagnika Hoya. You carry a sacrificial ladle and spoon in your hands and encourage everyone to perform sacrifice. So, like that, the different incarnations of the Lord in the different colors are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Shukla Rakta Tatapitas Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. And about Lord Chaitanya also Bhagavatam says, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Parayar Yajantihi Sumedasa. So here Krishna Varnam means Krishna Varnayati. The word Varna is not color. The word Varna stands both for color and also for, So here when it is used, Varna, Asan Varnas Trayohe says colors. But when it comes to Krishna Varnam, it is Krishna Varnayati. He is always chanting Krishna, Krishna. So Krishna Varnam, Tvisha Akrishnam. There the color is referred. So Akrishnam means he is not dark, but he is golden form. Sangopangastra Parshada. Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar. Elsewhere also it is mentioned in the Vishnu Sahasranam. Suvarna Varna Hemangas, Varangas Chandanangadi. Nishta Shanti Parayana. So that is the reference of all. I am just quickly moving past. And then these are the glorifications by the demigods. Don't forget. So we are just joining the demigods in glorifying the Lord who is still in the womb. The Lord has not yet appeared. Matsya Rupe Tumi Jale Pralaye Vihar Kurma Rupe Tumi Sarva Jivera Adhar. In the form of Matsya, you enjoy in the waters of annihilation. In the form of Kurma, you are the shelter of all living entities. Hayagriva Rupe Kara Vedera Udhar Adidaitya Dui Madhu Kaitabe Samhar. In the form of Hayagriva, you saved the Vedas by killing the original demons Madhu and Kaitaba. So Brahma performed a yagya, and from that yagya, Hayagriva appeared with a horse head, and then he went and killed these two demons, Madhu and Kaitaba, and he restored the Vedas back. So Vedas were lost. Sometimes it is Hayagriva, name of the demon itself, who actually steals the Vedas. And then the Lord Hayagriva will kill the demon Hayagriva and restore the Vedas. That is also mentioned. And the Lord appears as Varahadev in the beginning of Swayambhu Manu to put the earth back in its orbit. And also he appears as Varahadev in the beginning of Chakshusha Manvantara just to kill Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Because Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were killed in the Chakshusha Manvantara when they were born to So this Diti is this is the this is the second birth of Daksha. Daksha is born again, and the entire creation is done again in the beginning of Chakshusha Manvantara. That is when Diti gives birth to Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And then following this is the pastime of Lord Narasimha. So the Lord Narasimha pastime also happened in the Chakshusha Manvantara. And the Samudra Manthan, that also happened in the Chakshusha Manvantara. So this is the chronological order. Although Shukadeva Goswami does not speak about the chronological order, but Laghu Bhagavatamrita very clearly mentions that, what is the actual chronological order and which incarnations appear in which Manvantara. So it does not mean that whatever incarnations we see, they are appearing every Satyuga or every Treta Yuga. No, they come in the entire Kalpa once or twice. So some incarnations come only once, some incarnations come twice. Lord Buddha appeared many times. He appeared in the first Manvantara and also in the later in the seventh. Lord Ramachandra, we hear, he appeared, once or twice like that. Not that, they appear every Treta Yuga. Okay, so Balire Chala Apurva Vamana Rupa Hai Parashurama Rupe Kara Kshatriya Mahi. In the wonderful form of Vamana, you deceived Bali Maharaj, and in the form of Parashuram, you rid the earth of Kshatriyas. Ramachandra Rupe Kara, Ravana Samhar, Haladara Rupe Kara, Ananta Vihar. In the form of Ramachandra, you killed Ravana. In the form of Balaram, you performed innumerable pastimes. Buddha Rupe Daya Dharma, Karaha Prakash, Kalki Rupe Kara Mlecha, Ganera Vinash. In the form of Buddha, you exhibited compassion, and in the form of Kalki, you destroyed the Mlechas. Dhanavantri Rupe Kara, Amrita Pradhan, Hamsa Rupe Brahmadira, Kaha Tattva Jnan. In the form of Dhanvantri, you delivered nectar to the demigods, and in the form of Hamsa, you spoke on the absolute truth to Brahma and others. Shri Narada Rupe Veena, Dhari Kara Gan, Vyasa Rupe Kara Nija, Tatvera Vyakhyan. In the form of Narada, you carry a veena and sing your glories. And in the form of Vyasa, you explain the truth about yourself. These are also the incarnations as mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarvalila Lavanya, Vedagdhi Kari Sange, Krishna Rupe Virahara, Krishna Rupe Vihara, Gokule Bahurange. In the form of Krishna, your unlimited enchanting Gokula pastimes include those of all other incarnations. Then there's a quote from Brahmanda Purana which is mentioned that of all the incarnations, the demigods are praying that your incarnation as the cowherd boy is the most supremely sublime. He is Leela Purushottam. And Lord Chaitanya is known as Prema Purushottam. So, like that, the incarnations are glorified by the demigods. We learn the consciousness of the demigods. They are not praying something esoteric. They are not praying something complicated. No. These are their prayers. And this can be our prayers also. When we are singing the Dashavatara Stotra, it is non-different from these prayers by the demigods. The Lord is pleased by our singing of the Dashavatara Stotra also. So devotional service is very simple, practiced very simply. So devotional service is not to complicate things. So these are the simple prayers of the demigods. So I wanted to actually cover the pastimes. I think I will cover the pastimes rather than reading because and they are coming another 20, 30 verses. So Lord appears, and when the Lord appears, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his beautiful lotus face, beautiful eyes, and his lotus feet are very nicely described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. And then the demigods appear. They are, visiting after the birth. Before the birth, these were the prayers. And after the birth also, they are unable to tolerate separation from the Lord. So in the heavenly planets, it is mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, they are so ecstatically happy. They are embracing each other. They don't know who the other person is. Somebody on the street. They are embracing and they are kissing. Then they are realizing, he's somebody. Because they are so happy. Because they all want to come in their Vimana, they want to come visit Navadvip, they want to see the Lord. So many, many millions of demigods were coming, and they were mixing with common people. And at certain point of time, in the night also they were coming. Their shadows were visible. And seeing these shadows, people were scared. Some thought they were thieves. They would say, catch the thief, catch the thief. Some thought, no, no, they are ghosts. They were scared. They would shout, Narsinga, Narsinga. So they are calling Lord Narsimhadev. And they would bring some exorcist who can drive away the evils. So they would bring, and he will be screaming some mantras and, chanting, like Ugram, Viram, all that. But they will all laugh and they will run away. Then he will say, you all have escaped. Next time, we will drive you away. So like that, they were taking fun. So all these demigods, they were having very good, a fun time, teasing the residents who were, hovering around Lord Chaitanya. So then Mother Aditi also comes. When Mother Aditi comes, she's very, very beautiful and very opulent. And Mother Sachi is wondering, who this lady is. But it is mentioned that she is feeling very shy to ask, who you are. Because it will be an insult, you've been living in Navadvip and you don't know that, I'm coming to your house. So out of shyness, she didn't ask. But she was effulgent. She came, she placed some darba grass and some barley, and then she blessed, Lord, may you live longer. She paid obeisances. And Mother Sachi was very happy. And then, she left. So like that, very beautiful women would come, mix in the crowd, and they would glorify, they would take darshan of the Lord. Nobody knew who all are coming. Actually, Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi, they were living a very impoverished life. They were not opulent. They had a simple hut. So they were living a very simple life. But millions of people were coming to take darshan of the child. So many were coming. They were eager to come, take darshan. So they didn't stop anybody. They were feeling, obviously, no parents will say, please don't come. They feel so happy that to see my child, so many are coming. Today, if we have to call devotees, we have to call Prabhu and another reminder, we have a program, please come. But no invitation, nothing. Millions were coming. So they'll feel very happy. So that is how it was happening. And then at a certain point of time, when it is said that Lord Chaitanya had brought one puppy also. He liked the puppy. It is not mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it's elsewhere, that he brought a puppy and he was keeping, and his mother would scream at him, saying that, we are Brahmanas. Are you mad? Why are you bringing a dog? Don't do that, keep it aside. And, they would keep it outside the house. And then finally, when he was very attached, but finally, somehow, in his absence, they took the puppy and dropped it somewhere. And later on, they found that when they went, that puppy had left its body. So like that. And why Lord Chaitanya did this, we don't know. He is the Supreme Lord. He is Swarat. So like that, very small pastimes are mentioned, when there was a snake which crawled into the house. Very big, thick snake, non-different from Anantashesh. And he would pull, he would hold and he would pull, just 1 year old, and then he would go, it would coil automatically and he would go sleep. Everybody would scream, shout, Narsimha, Narsimha, what is happening? And they would pull the child out. They would drive the snake away. And still he would run behind. He would try to, grab the snake. So like that, the Lord, the thieves. So he was walking on the street and they wanted to steal the ornaments from the body of Lord Chaitanya. So they carry him on the shoulders. And then they want to take him away to a very distant place. And then by the influence of Praud Maya, there's Praud Maya who will bewilder even those who are not devotees in the Dham. So they go in circles, they come back to the same place, that is the house of Jagannath Mishra, to his own house. and they drop the child. They are still thinking it is our adda, we have come to our place. But then suddenly they realize, the child is running, everybody is embracing, they are scared and they run away. Then everybody is glorifying, who are those two great souls? They brought my child here. Then somebody says, yeah, yeah, we saw those two great souls. They dropped the child and went. So, and Vrindavan Das Thakur mentions that, they got the mercy of Lord. Actually, they were not devotees because they carried the Lord, although with bad intention of stealing him, they carried the Lord on their shoulders. So they got Sukriti, great Sukriti. So, and then what else? And when he was a 4-year-old child, not 4 years, sorry, 4 months, then there were a lot of items in the house. He would throw it here and there. And then when everybody would walk in, he would be sleeping because he's 4-year-old. He can't even crawl. He can just move around, but not crawl also. So everybody would be surprised. How is that, all the things are littered here, thrown, scattered everywhere, but the child is sleeping here. Now who could be doing this? Then they thought that probably it could be some ghost or some demon. And then they call some tantrics who could chant some mantras and drive away, and they keep chanting mantras. So that way, the Lord, performed many pastimes like that. Even in his childhood, he would break things, break pots, break things within his own house. When he would become angry with his mother that, she didn't give him something, then he would break everything, all the atta, dal, everything would be, completely destroyed. Because they were already living a life of poverty. But to destroy all this groceries and grains is a very painful thing. But Mother Shachi would become still very pleased looking at the beautiful lotus face of her son, because he was very, very attractive. So they couldn't forget him. So that is why they simply, ignored whatever he did. And after after Jagannath Mishra left his body, when they were struggling, because there is no such thing called as going working outside and bringing money. They are Brahmanas. So he would bring gold, and mother was really scared. Where from are you bringing gold? Then he would tell, that I am teaching, so the students are giving, some dakshina. So that way, he is bringing. So she was really concerned, even to say a little gold. So like that, many pastimes happened. At one point of time, when Jagannath Mishra was going outside, he asked, Nimai, please bring my footwear. He goes in, and they hear ankle bells, loud sound of ankle bells, chal, chal, chal. So they're like, who is there? There is no lady inside the house wearing like this. And nor does Nimai wear any ankle bells. And they are like, okay, they ignore it. And then after that, when they go inside the house and when they see, there are all lotus footprints of the Lord, with all the symbols of chakra, shankha, lotus. So all the symbols, Ankusha, then what is that? Ketu, and all these symbols of, the 19 symbols of the Lord which are there in his lotus feet. So they are amazed, they are surprised. How is it possible? Then Jagannath Mishra comes to a conclusion that it is because of their deity. That is, they have this Damodar Shila and then Shalagram Shila. So maybe it is a pastime of the Lord. We are not taking care properly. And then they arrange for an Abhishekam. They perform this Panchamrita Abhishekam, and like that. All these pastimes happen. Then there is this Tairtika Brahmana. Tairtika Brahmana is that person who was wandering to all the tirthas, and he happens to know that, this is the best Brahmana family in Navadvip. So he comes there. He says, give me a place to cook. I want to cook my own bhoga offering, and then I'll take my own prasad. So they arrange the ingredients for him, and then the Lord, you know, comes and eats because he's calling the Lord. Then he's upset. Then they all drag him away. They lock him. Again, he does the same thing. They are very upset. Then they lock him outside in some neighbor's house. The last time, the Brahmana is calling the Lord. He comes running. And then, he has the bhoga. Then the Brahmana is like, why are you doing this to me? Then, child Nimai says, you are calling me, so I am coming. I am your Ishtadev. Then actually he shows his form. The Lord reveals his form to the Brahmana, and the Brahmana is shocked. At that time, they are all in Yoga Nidra, the other residents of the house, in the middle of the night. And seeing the form, he is completely shocked, bewildered, gadgada, he is unable to speak, crying. Then the Lord tells him, all right, now you don't reveal this to others. Keep this as a secret, then you go. So he got his phala of his devotional service that he practiced for many lifetimes. So these were some of the, even when the Namakarna was happening of Lord Chaitanya, Nilambar Chakravarti, how many months did Lord Chaitanya? 13 months, okay, even before I could complete, yes. So why 13 months? 9 months was also okay. Why did he take 13 months? Yeah, right. So because, Nilambar Chakravarti says that the Lord was waiting for an auspicious moment. Same thing even Lord Nityananda Prabhu also, in this Magha Mas, the Shukla Trayodashi of Magha, was very auspicious planetary system positions. And same way in the Falgun Purnima, a very auspicious situation of all the planets. The Lord was waiting for it, so he stayed in the womb for 13 months, and the Lord appeared. So while giving him the name, many gave him different names: Nimai, Vishwambhara, Gaurahari. This is a famous pastime where, he would simply cry, and anybody who would chant Hari, Hari, then he would stop. So all the residents, they knew how to make the child stop crying. And Lord Chaitanya knew how to make them chant. So he would always cry. So he would always be crying, and they will always be chanting 24 hours. That was his trick. And not only that, even at the time of his appearance, he made everybody chant because of that lunar eclipse. The Chaitanya Bhagavat says that when this Akalanka Chandra has appeared, what is the use of this Kalanka Chandra? Let me cover him. So that way, Rahu covered him. And then the Lord made such an auspicious situation because of the positions of the planets that everybody was chanting Hari Hari. They were influenced to chant Hari Hari. It was done by the Lord himself. Everybody was chanting. Even the Muslims also were chanting. They were making fun. Hey, look at these Hindus, Hari Hari. We'll also chant Hari Hari, just to tease them. So everybody was chanting. In such an auspicious situation, the Lord appeared. So like that, he knew this trick of making everybody chant Hari Hari. And throughout, his childhood, he would cry so that they can chant Hari Hari. Even in his Namakarna ceremony, they had kept all the different auspicious items, and also Srimad Bhagavatam, some gold, some silver, some cloths, so many things they had kept. They told Nimai, choose something. Then he crawled and he took Srimad Bhagavatam, and everyone were very happy, blissful. They said that he'll become a great scholar. So there are many other things, he becomes a great scholar, and so many other sweet pastimes. He would, all his pastimes are just like Krishna. When he was young child, he would go to others' houses, steal, break pots, steal, butter or milk, and trouble small children, same like Krishna. And also, He would make fun of the girls also, he would tease them on the bank of Ganga. I'll get you married to an old man. I curse you that you will get married to an old man, or yeah, something like that. So many other things like that. But when he became a scholar, then he displayed some element of pride, so-called pride. The Lord has no, false ego pride. So he displayed pride and an element of arrogance, and everybody was scared of him. All his, uh, uh, Mukunda and Gadadhar Pandit, they were especially childhood friends. They were scared of him, especially when it comes to debate and other things. So the Lord was very. We can go on and on. So I would like to stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions, can please ask. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a very nice lecture. Prabhuji, usually I have one doubt. We always discuss and listen Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam lecture, but we don't, we have very rarely listen here about Ramayana. So I want to know what is the difference, and why are we following Bhagavad Gita and that I know it's good, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, but we don't discuss Ramayana. So that I want to know.
We discuss, there's no, we are not averse or against or anything like that. So in the process of discussing Bhagavad Katha, we come across the pastimes of Lord Rama, Ramanavami, everything. The real problem is we don't have time.
Correct. Yeah.
We are all busy with IT jobs and this and that. So we don't have time. Not that we don't discuss, we don't have time.
Yeah. Okay.
We can sit from morning till evening, chalo discuss. Ramayana is there, but we have not read. Cover to cover. How many of us have read Ramayana cover to cover? Please raise your hand. All the past time, yes. Pavan Gupta Prabhu has read. Anybody else? Cover to cover, entire Ramayana. Some Matajis have read. How is that possible? Some of us are 10, 15, 20, 30 years, but we have not read. That means we don't have time. There is no priority. I see that is the only reason. We don't have time for it. Yes. Not that we are averse to it. So, the devotees discuss all the incarnations of the Lord, all the pastimes of the Lord. Well, even if somebody, even though we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we discuss all the incarnations of the Lord.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for wonderfully narrating the glories of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So in the beginning you mentioned the result of devotional service will lead to detachment from the world. I have one question, Prabhuji. Typically the detachment happens because of two reasons. One is Mayana Vairagya, the other one, the Mayana Vairagya, the Smasan Vairagya.
Okay.
And then the other one is the detachment because of real knowledge or wisdom. So, how to distinguish that the detachment that happens is because of the frustration and Smashan Vairagya versus the real detachment, Prabhuji?
Very simple. Smashan Vairagya is only so long the person is dead. After that, we are forgotten. So it's a real detachment is constant. Smashan Vairagya is only temporary, ephemeral. So many devotees, yesterday only I was speaking to another devotee. How many of us remember all the devotees who left their body in the last 1 year connected to ICC? So many devotees. But we can't even remember them. Why? We are busy because the power of the illusory energy is very strong. Many have left. I think about 5 devotees have left their bodies. Do we remember? We don't even remember. So that is why, it is said, ahani ahani bhutani gachanti ha yamalayam. So this is Ashcharya. Because by practice of sincere devotional service, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janyati Ashu Vairagyam Gnanam Chedhaitukam. By sincere practice of bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya both are integral part of bhakti. It will happen. It has to happen. That is how it is. If it is not happening, we are not practicing properly. We are lacking. We need more time. We are more a mix of pravritti and nivritti. That is the problem. Even the final verse of Bhagavatam also says the same thing. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsamekam Amalam Jnanam Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhaktir Sahitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam. Jnana Viraga Bhakti. All these 3 things are always together. If we say I am doing bhakti, but I don't have viraga or jnana, incomplete. Jnana is there, vairagya is there, no proper bhakti. So bhakti should actually go together. The whole pastime is also there in the Padma Purana. All these Bhagavad Sapta, Kathakars, they begin with this story only. How, Bhakti Devi traveled from South India to North India and Jnana and Vairagya are dead. Because Bhakti is always ever fresh. And she was old, but when she came to Vrindavan, she became youthful. But her 2 sons, they were dead. Not dead in the sense they are completely unconscious. No effect only. Practicing bhakti, but no jnana, no vairagya. So then Narada comes there. And she is, telling, this is the situation. And he is also surprised. He does many things, he'll scream in their ears. He will tell, wake up, get up. He chants the holy names of the Lord. Nothing happens. Then, actually he takes, I think, he consults the Chatusana, the 4 Kumaras. And they tell him, I think some Akashvani happens. They tell him that, recite Bhagavatam. And then, they will wake up. Then that is how, Bhagavatam is recited. So, if other things, our religious duties and devotional service is not producing vairagya, then Narada is concluding in the Padma Purana that Srimad Bhagavatam is a sure shot for vairagya. But in spite of that, if it is not happening, then our reading of Bhagavatam also is faulty. I don't know with what intention we are reading, we don't know. More time for Krishna. That is the definition. Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya also can be misused if the mind is polluted. So, for a grihastha, to earn his livelihood is important. He will earn. But 50, the grihastha ashram ends. We should accept that grihastha ashram does not continue in 51, 52, 53. It doesn't continue. That we have to accept. So we have to make, even if you are not going to the forest or to the holy places, you should accept that I am in a vanaprastha now. So I should dedicate more time or complete time to like wonderful devotees who are there here, Anirudh Seva Prabhu and others who are practicing that. So we have to come to that. So this within the house, we learn from Lord Chaitanya's life how his father, his mother, he himself, after his father left his body, very clearly they are showing how they lived. They didn't work for somebody. They would do, he would teach. He would not teach for livelihood. It was his passion to teach, Shastra. So by Patana Pathan Yajana Yajana, Dana Pratigraha, a Brahmana lives. So when we make a life simple, obviously, we are maintained. We are maintained by the Lord. Lord is Vishwambhara. Vishwambhara means he is the maintainer. He actually maintains us. Our faiths are not strong. Our faiths are weak. We have created a cocoon around ourselves. We have complicated our own, living. So it's possible, but our mind is a obstacle. I know one devotee. He lives in a house which is, for a rent of 3,000 rupees. And some of us may be paying our maintenances only more than 3,000, something like that. So, where there is a will, there is a way. It happens, it's possible. Like I always mention this example that, the Lord has created this universe. He is a Vishwa Hetu, Vishwakarta, Vishwadrishta, Vishwaya. He is the cause of the creation. He is the ingredient. He is the universe himself. He enters into all the universes. And he's everything. For the jivas, he facilitates. They can be maintained. That is why he is Janardana. But when we try to have this independent nature that I will maintain myself and I will, arrange for myself, then it is an insult to the Lord. Because he is the maintainer, not us. I give this, I am sure you have heard this. I go to somebody's house, I go to Haridev Prabhu's house. He allows me to stay in his house for 5 days. Some program, Kirtan program, something. I stay. He gives me a room, he gives me this is your place for your bathroom, this is your bed, this is this, that, your chanting place, everything he arranges. But he never spoke about prasadam. So what I will do, I will go outside, I'll look here and there, I'll search something, I'll buy something, I'll bring to his house, I'll sit in his room and I'll start eating. How will he feel? He'll say, Prabhu, have you gone mad? I've given you everything, I'll give you prasadam also. The Lord has done the same thing. He's given us everything. So he is arranged for prasadam also. But we are a little intelligent, over-intelligent. So we make arrangement for ourselves. I hope. Hare Krishna. I can give this mic.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. I had a doubt regarding the colors of the 4 incarnations, Shukla Raktas Tatha Pita. So I have heard from a devotee, I think it is mentioned in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, that this Pita is only for the other Yuga avatars of Kali Yuga. But for Lord Chaitanya, who is special, is actually not yellow, but he is golden.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So, but we still use this as the pramana for Lord Chaitanya. How do we understand that apparent contradiction?
This is also a revelation for me also, because I had this doubt. So you have clarified it for me. So it is mentioned that the Lord's form is golden. Generally, when the reference is given, it is given to Pita Vasa. He is wearing the Pita Vastra. So Pita Varna is also mentioned. So I was not aware of it. So as you said, there could be other incarnations who are having it. And Lord Chaitanya's is a golden, and that is why he is Gaura. So that's all, Mataji. Beyond that, I don't have the answer. I don't know.
I've also heard that the other incarnations are called Gaura Narayana. They are basically in the Narayana category, not Krishna himself.
Oh.
So this Gaur Govind Maharaj, he
Okay.
states this.
Okay.
That's why they are unable to give the Madhurya Rasa or Raja Prema,
Okay.
like Lord Gauranga.
So that means there is a Chaturbhuja form of the Lord who comes as Gaur Narayan.
I don't know if it is Chaturbhuja, but this is all I've heard. And there's one more question. I've also heard that, for the Shukla category, I think it is mentioned in, this devotee mentioned that it's mentioned in Vishnu Dharmottara, that Shukla is actually Shukla Avatara. And this is the Shukla Avatara who appeared in front of Kardama Muni. But is it?
Correct. Correct. Even I have heard that Lord Kapila is referred to as the Shukla Avatara. There's a verse in the Bhagavatam.
Okay. No, I thought this was the Lord who appeared to Kardama Muni when he was doing penances for 10,000 years. He prayed to the Lord and Lord appeared on his Garuda Vahana. That is Shukla. No?
I doubt, because that's how the Bindu Sarovar got created, right? So I don't know if it is referring to that Lord who appeared there, but in the Kapila Bhagwan's in the Canto 3, the Lord appeared as Shukla is mentioned. I think it should be Lord Kapila himself.
But interestingly, this was not mentioned in the list of the names that you mentioned.
Anybody can do a quick search of Shukla in the 3rd canto. You will get it.
So this was not mentioned in the Shukla category of avatar names you mentioned, but I don't know, it may not be exhaustive.
Yeah, correct. It may not be exhaustive because this is the purport of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He casually picked a few names because there are unlimited number of Satya Tretas. We just picked a few.
Thank you.
No problem. Then forget it. Yeah. Don't want to trouble. It's easier on the computer, so not here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Generally, whenever Lord comes, he's very opulent, like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Devi and Lord Ramchandra also. But why, any particular reason why Lord chose Sachi Ma and Jagannath Mishra Prabhuji, they were, you were saying they were not so opulent. Any reason or it's just his Leela?
You mean Lord Gaura? Lord
Yeah.
Gauranga Mahaprabhu, when he
Lord Gauranga.
appeared. He was opulent. It is unmanifest to the eyes of everybody. The Lord is always, he is Shadaishwarya Purna. They are represented as Vasudeva and Devaki. So they are the Lord's dear devotees. So, the Lord appeared in their family. Yeah. Yeah. Right. The greatest wealth is the Supreme Lord. So there is no wealth beyond that. So he is impoverished who is actually devoid of bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we have a feast that is coming up, but this was a feast to the ears. And what a feast it was. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So let us all express our deep gratitude by loudly chanting once Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, before we actually go to the feast, there is one more feast to the ears that we're going to have. We're going to play a small video, I think about 14 minutes, and this was the last message by His Holiness Kadam Kanna Swami Maharaj. We'll play that. Before we play that, I would like to quickly announce the sponsors, Prasadam sponsors that we have today, devotees who are seeking prayers from all of us. We have Smita Keshav Prabhu, who was sponsored Prasadam on behalf of his wife Snehita Mataji's birthday. We also have Jaydev and family who have sponsored Prasadam on occasion of his mother's birthday, Hema Mataji's birthday. And we also have Prasannatma Balram Prabhu, the family and their BV members. They have also sponsored Prasadam on occasion of Jagannath Mishra Festival. So let us all loudly chant once Hare Krishna Mahamantra for these wonderful devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. I forgot one more name. So we also have Sankarshan Priya Prabhu, who has sponsored today's Prasadam on the occasion of Rama Mataji's birthday. So let us also chant once for Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nanda Kumar Prabhu and his wife are also seeking prayers and blessings for the daughter Nandimukhi, who's just got married on 9th March with Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu. So let us also chant for this wonderful couple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As always on every Sunday, we are also continuing with the Gita Amrita class. So devotees who have their friends, near ones and dear ones, please request them to attend these wonderful sessions which are happening every Sunday from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And we have upcoming yatras. So we had announced of Ahobilam Yatra. We are also having a yatra in May, that is Vizag to Sri Kurmam and Jagannath Puri Yatra combined. Then we have a wonderful yatra on May 27th. So this Vizag yatra is from May 18th to 23rd. Vizag, Sri Kurmam, Jagannath Puri Yatra. And Melukote, Halibidu and Belur Yatra is on May 27th. That's a Saturday. So those who are interested, please connect with Rati Madhuri Mataji. She is the yatra coordinator. So please connect with Mataji so that you can participate in the yatras. We'll play the video now by Maharaj. We also have Ravi Lochan Gaurang Prabhu, who was sponsored Prasadam on occasion of Jagannath Mishra Feast. So Prabhu is also seeking prayers and blessings. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So as Prabhu mentioned, we will hear this last final message recorded by His Holiness Kadamba Kannan Maharaj, I think 12 or 14 days before. He wanted it played after his departure, and many of us would have heard it yesterday. Now we'll hear it together as one family and continue our reflection on his life and journey and his contributions to Srila Prabhupada's movement. Hare Krishna.
Not able to connect to Zoom. Can you just log into Zoom and play this? Not connected to internet. He's not able to connect this time. Okay, not able to stream. Okay, okay, no problem.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Ganananasalakaya Saksurminitam Yena Tasmai Sigurave Namaha Bancha Kalpatrubhyacha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Once Maharaj Pariksit was roaming his kingdom and came across a terrible scene. A scene where a cow had been attacked by some low-class dark man dressed like a king, who had with a stick broken the legs of a bull. Maharaj Pariksit, being a valiant king, immediately took action and was ready to fight that man in the royal dress. None other than Kali personified. Kali, instead of fighting, immediately fell at the feet of the king like a subordinate, not ready to fight. Maharaj Pariksit took full action and said Kali could not stay in the kingdom. Kali said, "What will I do? I took shelter. I am Praja. I exist. I've taken birth. I need to exist somewhere. Where can I exist?" Maharaj Pariksit said, "You can stay in 4 places. There where there is gambling, meat eating, illicit sex, and intoxication. There was no such place. Kali couldn't find such a place, so came back and said, where will I stay? Then Maharaj Pariksit said, okay, you can stay where gold is stored. From this 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada praised the four regulative principles, which he formally introduced for his followers. As Srila Prabhupada was preaching to the modern world, he spelled it out, what to follow to become free from the influence of the age of Kali. Then Mahaprabhu gave the Yuga Dharma to chanting of the holy name. And not only that, Katanchana smite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet. He also added his mercy and made what is difficult easy. And so, the fundamental tenets of Krishna consciousness for the modern world took shape. 16 rounds minimum and 4 regulative principles. You all are the fortunate people, because you all came in touch with transcendental knowledge and with Vaishnavas. And as a result, you took up this process of sadhana bhakti, chanting Hare Krishna and following 4 regulative principles. Who in this world is prepared to live like that? But by Srila Prabhupada's and his followers' inspiration, we were ready. You were ready. You became the heroes. You are walking a heroic path, most glorious. Everything is blessed on the way. Nothing could be better. What a wonderful life have you been given. So I am very glad that I could be instrumental to inspire you to remain on that path. And through my written, recorded words, recorded kirtan, and all else that remains behind, through the memories in your heart, I will continue to inspire you to stay on this path through thick and thin. When all is blissful, when all is struggle, do not waver. It is, you got the greatest treasure. Never forget. Nowhere in this world is there such wealth. The wealthiest man in the world is a pauper. You have the real wealth. Treasure it. Relish it. Cherish it. Hold it close. Hold it close. Don't become slack, neglectful. Hold it close. Chant every day. Hear every day. Carve these principles in stone. Let them be there every day. And your life will be wonderful. And at the end, go back to Godhead, and we can physically reunite and celebrate there like we've never celebrated before. So looking forward to the great, great festival that is to come, where all of us will together and celebrate to another dimension, where the bliss will rise to levels never seen, never heard of. That time is not far away. Life is short. Prabhupada said, just give this one life to me. Please do that. Just give it. And everything will become most amazing. I'm saying goodbye to you for just a short time. For when we will be, I'll stay with you in my words and memories. I'll be with you on the path, and I'm waiting for you on the other end to meet you again in person. Soon, soon, miracles will happen. Soon, we will see love. We will see bliss. We will see fulfillment beyond our imagination, beyond our expectation. Remember Dhruva. When he met the Lord, all his previous expectations, he said, they're like broken pieces of glass. You gave me jewels. All we ever desired were broken pieces of glass. The Lord will give us jewels. Oh, stay on the path. Don't get lost. Come quickly. Let us join this festival of Krishna, the festival of unlimited, ever-growing love. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.